Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. If you like all things true crime, if you like it delivered in a peaceful, tranquil manner, if you like it clear and concise without drama, then I highly recommend you subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please smash the like button. It's a free way you can help. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I do hope you are well and that everything is hunky-dory in your world. Today, I want to share some new details about the Madeline Soto case as reported by WKMG News 6 in Orlando, Florida. This is information that I had not previously heard. The first thing is something I assumed but hadn't heard was confirmed, and that is that Stephan Sterns first SAing Maddie on either the night of Sunday, February 25th, or in the early morning hours of Monday, February 26th, before doing her in with his hands. So I hadn't heard that she was SA'd before she was done in. I'd assumed that, but I hadn't heard it confirmed. The second thing is that detectives believe Sterns was taking photos under the bedroom door of one of Jen Soto's female roommates. I thought he'd taken these images under the bathroom door, but no, it was her bedroom door, and detectives found photos of this same roommate on Stephan Sterns' cell phone, and the roommate was wearing her birthday suit, if you know what I mean. Can you imagine how violated that roommate feels? The next detail is that bedding from Maddie's makeshift bedroom, which was set up in the living room, was seen in the background of some of the photos of Stephan SAing Maddie. Now, I knew that bedding was seen in the background of some photos, but I didn't realize that the bedding had actually come from Maddie's makeshift bedroom, which begs the question, was she SA'd in that makeshift bedroom that only had dividers separating it from the rest of the living room? Or was that bedding taken up to room number 4 upstairs? The next thing is that a pair of men's boxer shorts found in a laundry basket in Madeline's makeshift bedroom also appear in photos of Stephan Sterns SAing Maddie. So, were those the boxer shorts that he had on the night or early morning when Maddie was last SA'd and then done in? Did he take those boxers off and drop them in the laundry in Maddie's room as he ran around in a hurry Monday morning? The next thing is that crime scene investigators took a notebook into custody from Jen Soto's condo. The notebook had drawings of certain acts, wink, wink, in it, along with algebra equations. So the question is, who drew those drawings? Was it Maddie? It sounds like it was her math notebook. And why did she draw those particular images? Was she showing someone what Stephan Sterns had done to her? The next thing is, according to investigators, Jen Soto sent a text message to Stephan Sterns on Sunday night at 11:39 p.m. saying, quote, "Make sure Maddie goes to bed now," end quote. About a minute later, Stephan sent Jen a text stating, "She's built her nest and she's settling in now," end quote. So we know that Jen Soto said that she sent Stephan and Madeline up to bedroom number 4 at 11 p.m. So it sounds like Madeline maybe was still awake between 11 and 11:39 p.m. I'm curious as to what prompted Jen to send that message at 11:39 p.m. Did she hear something upstairs that led her to believe Madeline was still awake. She told investigators during her interrogation on April 18th of 2024 that she didn't hear anything Sunday night into Monday morning. Now, 2 days after Madeline was reported missing, Madeline Soto and Stephan Sterns spent the night in the Town Place Suites by Marriott in Orlando. Stephan's father, Chris, also spent the night there in a separate room. Stephan snuck out of the hotel at 4:42 a.m. and he drove to Northport, Florida, a 2.5-hour drive away to his parents' home. We know that he tried to get inside the home, but his mother had put an additional lock on the front door, and apparently Stephan did not have his garage clicker, and that would have been the only way he could have accessed the home. Prior to this, Stephan's mother, Debbie, had found a torso in his bedroom, and at first she thought it was real. This sent her tearing out of the home and screaming Madeline's name out into the woods. I think this is why Debbie sounded frazzled when she later spoke to her husband and investigators. I think that believing the torso was real was very traumatic for her. So after this little secret trip to Northport, Stephan drove 2.5 hours back to Orlando, and he arrived at the hotel at 10:55 a.m., and that's when he lied to his father, Chris, telling him that he'd gone out for a drive and he'd gotten lost. Now, it was while detectives were interviewing Chris that they took his son Stephan into custody for all the initial SA charges. Detectives believe Stephan somehow gained access to a computer in Northport while he was there, and he tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi. He was trying to log in to delete images of him SAing Maddie, but he was unsuccessful. We also know that someone at the Sterns home, I'm assuming it was Stephan, Googled cephaloflurane, a drug used to put patients asleep for surgery, less than 2 weeks before Madeline disappeared. I knew that he had Googled that, but I didn't know it was less than 2 weeks before Madeline died. I'm wondering if that drug was found in her system. It's weird because you would think he might have used that and perhaps given her too much, which could have led to her death, but we know that he used his hands on her. Now, after Stephan's arrest, when Chris Sterns was clearing out his storage unit, he found a box of Stephan's belongings, and in it there were 2 USB drives. Mr. Sterns turned those in to the police, and detectives found more than 35,000 images of child P on one of the drives, and Madeline was not in any of those images. That leads me to believe more than ever that Stephan Sterns was doing stuff on the dark web with child P images, perhaps selling and buying them. And I do wonder if the little boy who belonged to one of the female roommates and who stayed at the house from time to time, I wonder if he is in any of those photos. Let's pray not. A scent dog alerted to possible human remains on Jen Soto's Nissan Sentra near the rear passenger wheel well. Did Stephan drive this vehicle right up to where Madeline's body was hidden in the wooded area in St. Cloud? How else can you explain that scent turning up in that location? On Monday, February 26th, the day that Madeline was reported missing, Sterns drove with the deceased Maddie in his front passenger seat back to the townhouse community. Stephan drove through the front gate and had to ask the security guard there to let him in. Stephan showed the guard his clicker and said that it wasn't working. The guard looked into the car and he saw a female completely slumped over with her mouth ajar. He assumed that that female was asleep. And you imagine? So this poor security guard now likely has that image seared in his brain. Can you imagine how traumatic it must be for him? So we know that Madeline was a victim of Stephan Sterns. We know that one of the female roommates at the townhome was also a victim of Stephan Sterns. We know that there are 35,000 images of child P, and none of those images have Madeline in them. So who are all those other children? And who took those images? Did he buy those? Did he take them himself? 35,000! Did anyone really know Stephan Sterns? Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Hey, do me a favor, smash that like button.